Welcome everyone, how are you? If you've got some concerns about workplace woes, if you want to make the world a better place, or simply you just want to improve the mood at home, I've got the answer for you. Also, if you're frustrated by some people's self-centeredness and selfishness, I have the solution for you. Join with me as we explore 5 tips to make the world a better place and be kind to one another. So let's jump in. Last week, by some miraculous act, I was wrestling with a really difficult passage of the Bible, and some of you said it was the best sermon yet. In fact, some of you said I was on fire. So just to be safe, I've decided to sit in front of the fire extinguishers to start with, just to be sure. This week, we're going to continue to look at Matthew's exploration of sending people out into the world to share the good news about Jesus and God's kingdom. Now, I frequently finish my sermons with the words to this effect: let us be the hands and feet of Christ in this world. Let us make this world a better place in the name of Jesus. So I want to ask you 2 questions as we start. What does that mean to you? And how do you understand that? How do you understand being the hands and the feet of Jesus in the world? I want to focus upon the last few words from today's gospel reading, which is Matthew chapter 10, verses 42. And whoever gives a cup of cold water to one of these little ones in the name of a disciple, truly I tell you, none of those will lose their reward. Whoever gives a cup of cold water, this is about encouragement. Little ones in this particular gospel reading refers to those who are young in the faith, but also those who are vulnerable. Here it says in chapter, well, actually refers to a little bit further on in chapter 25 of Matthew's Gospel, and it refers to a parable about judgment particularly, but it says, I was thirsty and you gave me something to drink. Truly I tell you, just as you did it to one of the least of these who are members of my family, you did it to me. If you are a rewards-orientated type person, then the righteous who attend to the needs of these little ones are told, come, you that are blessed by my Father, inherit the kingdom prepared for you from the foundation of the world. But being generous and kind, sharing our faith through acts and deeds of kindness, is a core principle of the Christian faith. It is it should be a core principle of the Christian faith, and it really should be part of our lived spiritual lives. In James chapter 2 verse 26 it says, faith without works is dead. And Proverbs 19 verse 17 says, whoever is kind to the poor lends to the Lord, and they will be repaid in full. Over the last few weeks, we've been exploring ideas of Jesus sending his disciples to participate in this mission, to go out into the world and to share the good news of God's kingdom to others out there. There is simply no other way to be the church. There is a growing awareness in modern church circles that mission's not just about a program of the church. It is, or ought to be, the defining purpose of the church itself. The church is mission. As followers of Jesus, we are sent into the world to tell and embody the good news of Jesus Christ. We're all sent out into the world with humility and being vulnerable to share the good news of Christ to others. This also requires us to be willing to be rejected and hurt sometimes. For a long time, we've expected the people to come to us. See this church building behind me? We've expected people to walk up the hill and come into this church building. That's just been the way it's been for so long. But really what it says is we are to be sent out into the world to share the gospel with them. What would happen if we truly believed that we bear the presence of Christ to every person that we encounter, in every home, in every workplace, and in the marketplace, every neighborhood that we enter? What would happen if we saw every conversation as an opportunity to share God's good news with others, to speak words of grace Every interaction is an opportunity to embody God's love for the neighbour. The idea of offering a cup of cold water, a refreshment, is an act of kindness. The Bible tells us to be kind, to clothe yourselves with compassion, kindness, humility, meekness, and patience. But did you know that the well-being and happiness increases every time that you do an act of kindness for somebody? It's a scientific fact. When we are kind to others, our sense of well-being actually improves. Like many things in the Bibles, there are levels of understanding. If we scratch past the surface, we come to a new layer of understanding. We come to a deeper understanding. In some ways, it's a bit like a parfait. Another layer, another layer. Kindness is an aspect of the Christian faith which we are instructed to put into practice, but it also benefits us, and it also benefits those who are around us. By contrast, the fruit of the Spirit is love, joy, peace, patience, kindness, generosity, faithfulness, gentleness, and self-control. Galatians chapter 5, verses 22 to 23. I've been looking into the scientific evidence that supports and frequently confirms a number of spiritual practices. Ideas like gratitude and kindness have long been espoused as important Christian qualities. There's a great book by Robert Sheldrake that explores the scientific evidence that supports spiritual practices. Many published scientific studies generally show that religious and spiritual practices confer benefits that include better physical and mental health, less proneness to depression, and greater longevity. From Psalm chapter 9, verse 1, I will give thanks to you, Lord, with all my heart. I will tell of your wonderful deeds. So then, as we have opportunity, let us do good to everyone. Galatians chapter 6, verse 10. I saw something on TV recently that's about a bloke who set up a foundation which promotes Kind July. It's part of a not-for-profit organisation called Stay Kind, which is a movement that advocates for and actively promotes acts of kindness. I've put the details in the link of this video, so check it out. It's a really moving story, and the backstory to this is quite emotional, actually. I would really encourage you to go and check it out. Kindness isn't just a Christian trait. It's something that many of us try to embrace. But as followers of Jesus, we are specifically told to share the good news of God's kingdom. And part of this good news is to be kind. It's the solution to this topsy-turvy world that we live in. Kindness makes you happier. Kindness improves your relationships. An act of kindness can make you feel good as well as the recipient of the act of your kindness. But research shows that acts of kindness can actually make us generally happier in a number of different ways. Research into psychology shows there's a link between kindness and well-being throughout life, even at a very young age. In fact, even just reflecting on having been kind in the past may be able to help improve teenagers' moods. Research has shown that spending extra money on other people may be a more powerful way of increasing happiness than actually spending it on ourselves. So as we enter this Kind July, and also with the impetus from today's scripture reading, I thought I'd give you 5 essential tips on how to be kind and practice kindness towards other people. So let's jump into the 5 tips. Number 1, contagious smile. Be kind is likely to make someone smile if you see that smile for yourself. It might be catching. I can even give you a biblical reference if you like, from Proverbs chapter 15 verse 30. This is from the New Living Translation. A cheerful look brings joy to the heart. Good news makes for good health. A key theory about how we understand other people in neuroscience suggests that seeing someone else show an emotion will automatically activate a similar sort of emotion within us. The brain wants to sort of almost replicate that in our own lives. So we see someone smile, we're actually quite likely to smile. If somebody laughs, then we'll laugh. In fact, I want you to do an experiment for me. When you finish watching this video, I want you to go home or go wherever you are, if there's somebody with you, and just start laughing with that person. Just try laughing and see what happens. And I want you to tell me what happens. So let me know, maybe in the comments below, of our laughing experiment. Science says that smiling can reduce blood pressure, relieve stress, strengthen your immune system, and even lessen pain. It can also be a great blessing for somebody else. But I need to know how to smile more. I need to put this into practice. I need to smile a bit more. Number 2, righting a wrong. Doing an act of kindness or doing an act to fix something up, make something better, helps us, makes us feel good. Partly because we feel the same relief that they do, and partly because we're putting something right. My favourite Bible verse is Micah chapter 6 verse 8, and part of it says to practice justice. This is righting a wrong. Although this effect is especially powerful for people we're actually close to, when we right a wrong for those who are close to, it can even apply to humanitarian problems such as poverty or climate change. Getting engaged with charities and tackling those issues of poverty may have an impact upon us, a positive impact as we change the world, which in turn improves our mood. Number 3, making connections. Love your neighbour as you love yourself. To love your neighbour, you actually need to know them. You need to get to know them. You need to build relationships with them. That's important. A couple of years ago, we did this, it might have been 2 years ago, we did this Bible study for Lent around this book called Reconciliation. And the author, Dr. Swamy, came up with this lovely idea about being proactive in reconciliation, something I actually hadn't heard of before. And he talked about actually seeking out those who we don't know, to seek out and to build bridges with those people. And that is part of being proactive in reconciliation. And I thought it was a wonderful way. It's about making connections with people we might not have actually known before. It was about making connections. Kind acts such as buying someone a thoughtful present or even just a coffee, it can strengthen relationships, friendships, and itself it can improve our mood and obviously the mood of the person we're being a blessing to. Volunteering also opens up new circles of people that we can engage with, both as volunteers and those people who we are helping out. Number 4, be peaceful. Promote peace. Deceit is in the mind of those who plan evil, but those who counsel peace, they have joy. Proverbs chapter 12, verse 20. Being peaceful can be hard. We live in a stressful modern world. When I get stressed out, my blood pressure goes through the roof. I'm not sure about you, but I need a bit of peace. There may be many other benefits of being peaceful, such as it reduces anxiety attacks, it can decrease tension, it can help chronic disease, it can enhance our immune system and ability to heal, it decreases the aging process, some of you may really like that one. It increases emotional stability, it improves our relationships, it promotes social behaviour, it leads to greater tolerance of others, it provides peace of mind, which also brings us towards happiness. It brings body, mind and spirit into harmony. It helps with attaining enlightenment, and it changes our attitudes towards life. These are just to name a few things. The list really goes on. Number 5. Fairly obvious, but be kind. Most people would like to think of themselves as a kind person. So acts of kindness help us to demonstrate that positive identity and make us feel positive about ourselves. A Japanese study found that those people who practice kindness actually feel happier about themselves than those who don't. I suppose some good news about this is the only person that we really harm by not practicing kindness is ourselves. We're not really harming too many other people. It's such a better feeling to be nice than to be mean. Be kind to one another, tender-hearted, forgive one another. Ephesians chapter 4 verse 32. Work on psychology and the psychology of kindness shows that one of the possible motivations to do kindness is the fact that this is reciprocated back to us, returning of a favour if you like. This can happen directly or indirectly, Someone might remember when you gave somebody a cup of cold water, and they might decide, well, they're not a bad person, I'm going to help them back in return. Now, this is a motivation for some people. Others of us, well, it's part of who we are in our faith. We do this because Christ calls us to be kind as well. Proverbs verse 11, verse 17, those who are kind reward themselves, but the cruel do themselves harm. The world needs more kindness. Through your acts of kindness, you make a huge difference to other people's lives. The science says that it will help you also in return. So I would encourage you to practice these 5 tips of kindness to make the world a better place. As I finish today, I want to finish with a wise prayer from St. Teresa of Avila. Christ has no body but yours, no hands but yours, no feet but yours. Yours are the eyes which the compassion of Christ looks out upon the world. Yours are the feet which he goes out doing good. Yours are the hands with which he is to bless others now. God bless everyone. Thanks for joining me today. I hope that you found that helpful. I know in my own life that practicing these acts of kindness, it does make a difference, and it lifts my spirits as well as helping so many other people. So, I'm not perfect, and I'm sure you're probably not there either, but these acts of kindness, they help them make the world a better place. So I would encourage you to subscribe. If you found this engaging and interesting, subscribe on the link below and click on the bell as well. That'll let you know when we put new stuff out as well. So that'd be great if you could. Now next week, I'm really excited about this. We have a special guest preacher joining me to teach us a little bit about this special time of year. On the 1st of July, it's the coming of the light. So I'm having a special guest preacher. I'm really excited about this, who's joining me. So make sure you tune in next week. Until then, have a great week, everyone. Bye.